I have a need for it right now.
I guess I've been putting it off.
What can I've got some questions for you. My cards say we should talk about life insurance.
Perfect, let's do it.
Do you know what life insurance is?
If we were married and you died, I would get money.
Why do I have to be the one that dies? Why can't it be you? Do you guys have life insurance? Oh.
I don't think I have a need for it right now.
I guess I've been putting it off.
What can your beneficiary use your death benefit for?
For my burial,
Pay off mortgage,
Our bills,
They can use it to go to college.
paying off student loans.
you're putting me on the spot. I don't know what else to answer.
How much life insurance do you think you need?
$200,000 and $250,000 policy.
$100,000?
What if I told you 7 to 10 times your annual income?
Oh.
Really?
Yeah. Do you think you need a medical exam to get life insurance?
Oh, I know you do.
Yes.
you do.
Yes, not necessarily.
Really?
Wow, we were so sure about that.
Yeah, we were. So do you feel like you know a lot more about life insurance
I
now than you did a
do.
few minutes ago?
I do.
All
In just a
right.
few minutes, I've learned so much more.
What's the most important thing you learned here today?
I need more insurance.
Good evening from the Dallas Hub and those of you who are watching live on our Infinite YouTube channel. Welcome to Infinite. Good evening from the Dallas Hub and those of you who are watching live on our Infinite YouTube channel. Welcome to Infinite Talk. We are looking forward to an exciting segment tonight. So please give a warm welcome to our host, our Infinite Company's CEO and President, Brad Pham.
All right. You gotta love technology, though, huh? Technology is a love and hate relationship. Hey, good evening, everyone. Oh, come on. Good evening, everyone. Man, I'm the one sitting here doing the talking today. Come on, guys. Hey, it's a beautiful Tuesday, and it's that time again, Infinite Talk. And yeah, I'm just excited because today, my job today is to actually wrap up Life Insurance Awareness Month. And if you didn't know that this was a Life Insurance Awareness Month, now you know. And hopefully you were able to share the message with many people that are out there, because it's a very important topic of discussion, especially when you're talking about building infinite wealth. And you're going to see in the next few weeks, we're going to be rolling out a lot of different items for the field force to be able to approach and contact and discuss these very important discussions. I'm going to spend the first few 10 minutes with y'all just to kind of wrap up a little bit about life insurance and talk about it. Near the end, we're going to actually have a Q&A. It's going to be regarding our Financial Freedom Challenge and also a Q&A just on life insurance alone if you have any questions. But I want to kind of address some topics today. If you saw in the emails that we sent out, we talked about the what ifs. Yesterday was my son's first year birthday, and the last 12 months it was crazy because as I was going through and making this video of a timeline of my son, what's happened in the last 12 months, you get to see all the videos and you forget how small the baby is. And actually our vice president, Sina and Lo, just actually had their baby yesterday, so we're now have it's I don't know, it's an infinite weirdo situation, okay? But it's pretty neat. I mean, it's, you know, her husband is actually like a brother to me. We grew up together, and it's kind of amazing now they share the same birthday. But whenever I was looking at all the videos, Mary Sell, she has like 3,000 videos of Chancellor, and I have like 199 or something like that. And so as I was going through each video, it's crazy to see how they evolve, and they got he evolved and got older. And one of the things that really stood out to me was, what if I wasn't there for his first year birthday, and where would my son be? What position would he be in? And I don't know what thoughts go through your mind when you go through videos and you look at different things about your children or your family or just your memories. But for me, it's crazy that I had to try to wrap up 12 months of his life in a 12 to 13 minute video. And I had a bunch of videos, a bunch of different things. And I just kept thinking, what if I wasn't there? I wouldn't have seen him maybe take his first step, which he just done recently, his first crawl, his first everything. And so life insurance is one of those subjects that a lot of people don't like to discuss. But when you want to build infinite wealth, it's the first step that you got to discuss about, because life insurance is, let's hypothetically say that I just got into the business world. I just had a 1-year-old son, and all of a sudden something happened to me. And let's say if I had a traditional business, maybe I own a convenience store, or I own some retail store, or I own a 7-Eleven franchise, or something I might own that's a little bit different, that's tangible. And let's say if I died, what would have happened to my family? I probably would have had debt. So how would that debt been covered? Did I have the legal guardian set up? Did I have everything set up for my family, that what happens or what if something happens to me? And so I want to really challenge the thought today to really wrap up Life Insurance Awareness Month, is to kind of give you all some tips on how to really talk to people about life insurance. Because I think that sometimes people think that you have to be a very aggressive person to discuss this topic to people, but you don't have to. You know, when I joined the industry, I knew a guy, he was a pretty crazy guy. He would literally turn off the lights in the room and say, "What if you die today?" and turns off the light, and then it goes pitch dark. And so that's a little bit aggressive. Now, it might work for you, all right? But for me, I couldn't do that because I turned off the light. I might not know where the light switch is on. And so it was a little bit different. I consider myself more of a passive-aggressive person. And sometimes people think that you have to be very aggressive to make it in sales, or to be able to do something big, like to build a financial services company, or to talk about life insurance, or just do something. I want to give those that are sitting in the crowd or listening today on YouTube live, is I want to give you hope that you can be very passive and still help many families at the same time. But you just have to understand one thing is the first tip I want to give you before you can do that is you got to understand it's a numbers game. And when I say numbers game, it's the more people that you talk to, the higher the chance that you're going to be able to help that person or help more people. And so if you don't understand that first part, then you're not going to be able to bring that awareness to many people. What you're going to do is you're going to stop on the first no or the first 5 no's. The second step is that you got to understand one thing, is that you need to self-assess your situation first before you can talk to anyone about life insurance. Because it's hard to talk to somebody it's hard to talk to somebody about $1 million life insurance policy when you don't own $1 million life insurance policy. Because why people feel like they're salespeople is because they push something towards somebody else that they don't believe in. That's when you become a salesperson. Now, you might not be able to, let's say if you're an entrepreneur and you're getting into the sales industry and you're now talking about life insurance or anything out there. And you might say, well, Brad, I can't afford the $1 million life insurance yet. So how can I go and talk to somebody about $1 million? So leverage somebody, borrow somebody's experience. But you need to self-assess your situation because if it's suitable and you can get approved, if you look at it, term insurance, like 10-year term insurance, for $1 million life insurance, it's really not that expensive. And most people say, I can't afford it. But if you think about it, is that, so what can you afford? You can afford going to Starbucks. I got a funny story to share with y'all. So today I went to Starbucks, and lately I've really been going. And I went to Starbucks this morning, and I know the barista. Hi, how are you? And this lady that was standing next to me, her card got declined for whatever reason, but I looked at the card, it looks like a check card. So we all know, if it gets declined, probably there's no money in it. So she got frustrated, started raising her voice, and just stormed out of Starbucks. And so as I'm walking out with my tall cup of coffee, she gets into a Jaguar. And I don't know, I'm not in the shoes, but in my mind, I'm just thinking if I own a Jaguar and I'm stepping into this brand new Jaguar, that I probably have a second form of payment. So if the first one is not going through, I probably have a second one because maybe something got blocked. And it's a younger person, so probably daddy blocked it. And to me, I look at that right there. Let's hypothetically say, because it looks like it was a routine for her. And so and she was buying like, a venti cup of coffee, some kind of like snack or whatever it is, like a Danish or whatever. So you're spending easily about $5 to $7. So let's say if that's done 5 days a week, that's $35, let's say. $35, that's $140 a month if you do it Monday to Friday. So the question is that many people ask themselves, they say that, Brad, I can't afford $1 million life insurance policy. Well, the first step you really need to do is you got to self-assess your situation and see what you're spending money on. Because there's nobody going to have a harder real talk with yourself than yourself. Because I don't care who you speak to, who you talk to, you can speak to the best financial advisor, best life insurance planner out there in today's world. You can sit down with Warren Buffett and he can sit there and educate you on finance all day long. But if you don't self-assess your situation, you're just bringing in a lot of knowledge, but you're not gaining the experience by doing it yourself and by giving it out to other people. So that's the next step, is self-assessing your situation and challenging yourself. Maybe this month you can't do it, but next month you should be able to get to that point. I always share with y'all, I have way over $3+ million in life insurance, and I have plenty of life insurance just for my family. This is not speaking about my business, all right? And so if I die today, you ever heard the saying, people say you're worth more than you're alive? I don't have that issue here, okay? So the thing is that I do life insurance. Let me tell you why. Because life insurance is an investment for my family. And a lot of times people don't want to price themselves because they said, oh, it's a bad order. All of a sudden you buy insurance on yourself and it's like cursing yourself. Well, why do you buy insurance for your phone? Why do you buy insurance for your car? Why do you buy insurance for your home? Why do you buy pet insurance? Why do we buy insurance for everything else except for the number one person who actually brings in and generates the income, the revenue? So if you're a business person, let's just hypothetically give you a new scenario here. If you're a business person and you have partners in your business, let's say you're running a Fortune 500 company, and this partner is a key partner in the firm. Without that partner, that firm could collapse. So in the business world, they have key man insurance. They have executive insurance. They have all different types of insurance that basically insures that person maybe $5 million, $10 million, whatever his value or her value is to that company. So I want you to think about this. If you have your family, imagine you're the head of the family, or you're another breadwinner, or you just bring an additional income, but that income is needed, and you're not there. And you look at all your family as this is your partner, what would happen? It's just how you look at things with life insurance. Life insurance to me is a key part in any type of financial planning. So how do I deal with people? I had a good friend who has saved enough money, and plenty of money. And when I sat down with the person, they go, hey, you know what, Brad, don't talk to me about life insurance and don't talk to me about annuity. And I'm like, well, that's the two things that we help people here with. So I said, all right. And most of the time, in my early rookie days, if somebody said that to me, I might back off, all right? Because I might say, you know what, whoa, he knows what he wants. Maybe I need to back off because that's scary. So what I learned to do is that you just want to listen. Because if you believe in life insurance, which I truly do, you will know how to root back to life insurance. And let me show you why. So when I sat down with the person, I go, okay, I get it. I don't disagree. I say, I agree with you. Maybe you don't need life insurance, maybe you need annuities. Let me show you. I'm sharing y'all really great tips today. Don't disagree. Disagree. I agree with you. Maybe you don't. All right? But can I ask you a question? So you notice I ask a lot of questions, right? Because you want to self-assess. You want to assess the person. And so can I ask you something? So all the money that you have, what would you like to do with it? Number one, I want to have income for life. I want to be able to retire. I don't outlive my money. Do y'all ever hear that? People who might be retiring, getting to that stage? Okay, great. So let's say, for example, let's say, for example, your income does outlive you. So number 2, can I ask you a question? What would you want that income, where would you want that money or that income go? Do you want to just say, hey, it's done? And, nobody says, no, it's not done. I mean, most people who have children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren, you're going to say what? I want to leave whatever I have left to them. And if you don't have any children or grandchildren or great-grandchildren, you will probably say, I want to leave it to a charitable cause. I want to leave it to somebody, a good foundation or whatever, to a church, to my temple, to anywhere that it can better human society. And so a lot of people that I've met who has accumulated some kind of money, they want to leave back something. And so the question is that, okay, so you want to leave back something if your income outlives you or your money. Great. So let's circle back. Well, can you tell me why you don't like annuities? Well, I heard all this bad stuff. Okay. So what product do you know that can give you income for life today? Silence. You let the person talk. And most of the time, 99.9% of the time, they don't know. Because you know why? They wouldn't be sitting down with you to begin with. And that's where people get scared. Let's take the word financial advisor. What is your job to do as a financial advisor? Advise financial knowledge to people. If you're a life insurance planner, you're planning life insurance for them. So when you sit down with someone, you must be the leader to lead them, but it's hard to lead them if you haven't done it for yourself or self-assess. Make sense? So, great. So if you don't know the products, you mind if I educate you a little bit on how some products work out there? Okay, great. Let's talk about if your income outlives you or your money outlives you. What would you want to do with it? I want to leave it to my grandchildren, my children, my great-grandchildren. I've sat down with many people, and this is how I approach everyone, all right? After doing certain process with it. And so I would say, okay, great. So would you like to leave money to your children or grandchildren if something happens to you? Yes. Do you want to have that money be taxed or not taxed? Well, why would I want it to be taxed if I can leave it not taxed, right? Have you ever heard of something called life insurance? Oh man, I don't want to pay life insurance. It's expensive. How is it expensive? Explain to me. Well, I mean, at my age, I'm going to pay at this rate, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so give me a number what you think it will cost you. It's going to cost me $500 a month, all right? $500, $6,000 a year for the next 10 years is what? $60,000. For the next 20 years is what? $120,000, correct? For the next 30 years is $180,000. So what if you bought a policy that was able to give your family $1 million or $2 million for that cost? Don't you think that would be beneficial for your family at tax-free? Do you want to change your next generation? Yes. See, I come from a background where we are poor. Our family, not poor, we're broke, all right? My generations, all my family, majorities, everybody's broke. And the only way that I could change the generations on is make a lot of money or buy life insurance. So it's one or the other. Here we can do both. On Friday night, I had a dinner. And I had a dinner I was sharing with a couple of the leaders. And I went down to Uptown, and we went down to a little bit like West Village area. And I had dinner with 5 attorneys plus a judge initially, all right? And it was a very awkward situation for me because I'm not an attorney. And so I sat down with them, and one of them were a really good friend. So we're sitting there talking. And as we were talking, one of the things that the attorney told me, he said, Brad, I wish that I could sell my firm, spend more time with my children, but the challenge that I'm faced with is if I sell the firm, I am the firm, and without me, it's not very valuable. Is that like how most businesses are? Because most of the time when you run a traditional business, I don't care if you're a big-time lawyer or a big-time doctor or a big-time anything. without you driving that business, 99.9% of the time, the valuation of that company goes down. All right? I'm talking about these are like medium-sized type businesses here, small to medium-sized. And so the challenge is that I asked a question. I said, so why would that matter? Because, well, I want to get this much, and I want to be able to pass money on to my family, but also enjoy it. And I said, can I ask you a simple question? Yeah. Do you understand life insurance? Oh, no, man, you know, I'm like, oh, okay. And everybody was like that. They don't get me wrong. These are really intelligent people. They're actually some of the top attorneys in the Metroplex. And I said, so you have no life insurance? Yeah, Brad, I got like $100,000 life insurance. Really? Okay. So when was the last time you looked at it? Ah, man, I don't know. And I said, have you thought about a trust, putting it in, you know, dealing with eyelids? And no. And so I said, you know, you really should think about it, because if I die today, my business is taken care of and my family's taken care of. And my great-grandchildren will be taken care of, because the trust has designed it to that point. And so at the end, what do you think they asked me? Hey, I might need to talk to you a little bit later about it. Oh, yeah, after some more shots, we'll have some drinks and, you know, getting it out of you guys, having a lot of fun doing this. So I'm not an expert in legal, so that's why I go to them. And they're not an expert in financial planning. And so I want y'all to understand, and I truly want y'all to understand that life insurance is not hard to talk about. It's a mental block between us and us. Okay? That's it. You know how you break the fear? It's just do it. Just talk to people. If I'm sitting down with a mother who has 2 children, 3 children, 1 child right next to them, so, and this is your friend, somebody you see all the time, what's so hard as saying, hey, I know it's pretty difficult right now, right? How many times have you ever heard moms go, oh my God, my life is so hard, you know, this kid's like climbing on me, this other one's spitting food at me, and this other one's kicking at me. It's rough, right? It's rough. I see the moms, it's rough. So if you're not here, how much rougher do you think it would be for those children? Make them think. You know, you can't get anybody to do anything unless you challenge their thought process of what they understand. Let's say I got a young person. Oh, young person, I don't need life insurance. Well, that's how I used to think. Well, Brad, if you die, you're a young guy, and who's taking care of you most of your life? My mom. She's always been there. So if you die, don't you think that she deserves that you leave something behind for her? That's how I bought my first $227,000 life insurance policy at 18 years old. Because that one, and I remember that comment like it was yesterday. Because I never thought about life insurance. There was no need. You're an 18-year-old kid. I mean, why would I need life insurance? Then as I got matured and older into the industry, I realized something was life insurance is an investment. And if you play it the right way, especially when you're young, because I started having friends who had heart attacks, friends that had cancer, friends that died from sickness already at young ages, it frightened me. And so I started thinking, it's like, hey, if I can get as much life insurance as I can right now, why not? Because it's cheaper today, it's going to be more beneficial for me later, because one day I will have a family. And then fast forwarding it, look at, I just had Chancellor's first birthday yesterday. Our children will be taken care of for the rest of their life, and their children will be taken care of. And so I want y'all to understand is, as we approach the end of Life Insurance Awareness Month, we need to really understand one thing, is that it's not the end. This awareness, when America dedicated September for it, they said, you know what, we're going to bring awareness 1 out of 12 months about life insurance, but it doesn't mean that 365 days or the other 11 months, we're not going to discuss it. We had to discuss it 365 days, especially as the holidays approach. I just had a friend who I found out when we were in a retreat in Austin, she died from a motorcycle accident. And do you know how many times I kept saying I was going to reach out to her, and I did it? And so I want to challenge y'all is that there are a lot of times that even myself, I'm a guru and all that stuff, but we all get busy, and we got to understand something is my level right now is very busy. Your level, you might be starting off, you got a lot of time to learn this industry, do it. I talked to everybody when I first got in the industry. The question was, how many times did I revisit? I revisited many times, but in the last 12 months, maybe the last 24 months, I kept saying I was going to revisit this person, and then I find out news like that. I want to challenge y'all is that maybe life insurance is not important to some of us sitting in this room, or it's important to some people out there, but I challenge you to learn it. Not to just pass the license and the exam and just become a licensed professional. Really be an advocate. Really be an activist. Be an activist for social change to really just change the way people think about what we're talking about here this month. So I wanted to just wrap up a little bit of those thoughts about life insurance, and at the end we're going to have a little bit of a Q&A to talk about our financial freedom challenge and also a little bit of life insurance. So if you have some questions that you'd like to ask, please do. One question, like you might say, Brad, I come across people who have life insurance already. I don't know how to approach them. Say, great, you have life insurance? That's amazing. Why did you get it? Well, I got it for this reason because I wanted to protect my children, just in case I'm not here. Okay, how did you come up with the number that you have? Because if they have life insurance, they're believers. A believer is easy to talk to. Y'all get what I'm saying here? So that's why I want to help you all. Maybe you come up with questions at the end. I would love to help you, and I'm going to have our guest, who we're about to invite onto here, that just finished BD, and she is an amazing mom, amazing entrepreneur, amazing person who's been really fighting her way to become a BD. And so we're about to bring her on. So near the end, I'll have myself and her, and if you have some questions relating to those two topics, please. We would love to hear from you all, okay? So we're going to cut to her video here, and then we're going to come back.
My name is Rosemary Beyer. I'm an associate here at Our Infinite Company. I am native to Dallas, Texas, born and raised. Proud mom of 3 beautiful boys and a wife of almost 20 years. Before I came into Our Infinite Company, I actually served in the natural birth industry here in Dallas, Texas, just helping moms and dads bring their babies into the world. Some of the challenges that I've faced coming into a brand new industry is simply learning my trade and learning the field. The best way that I've really overcome this challenge is to always come to the table with my cup empty, always asking lots of questions, and spending a lot of homework outside of just training. So really upping my personal game and mastering, which has taken a lot of discipline. The most powerful tool that I have learned in financial solutions that has really benefited myself has been something as simple as creating good budgeting habits. For me, the most impactful has been creating a really solid budgeting habit of funding a short-term savings account, which has protected me from continuing a cycle of unpredictable stressors. And just having those funds available to me have also enabled me to really practice what I preach, which is living debt-free and independent. The best advice I can give to another female looking to break into the financial industry is to detach yourself from really caring what other people have to say about your new endeavors or your new dreams, and be very guarded on allowing supportive, positive people to lift you up, primarily surrounding yourself and encompassing your circle with other female influencers, regardless of what field they are in. Being a female in such a male-dominant industry, I feel that it's incredibly important to surround yourself with women that have already paved the way in financial services, that have already made a name for themselves. And for me, I have really just glued myself to other influential females in financial services industry, which has inspired me to keep my blinders on, ignore the noise of any negative feedback or doubt that someone may have about a female developing a presence to serve her community with financial service platforms.
All right. Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, we have Rosemary, and congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Man.
What an amazing opportunity.
Where's your scooter?
Okay, I was going to ride it up on here and just kind of do a Miss America wave, Miss BD wave, but we'll save that for retreat only.
If y'all haven't seen, she actually hurt her foot. Was this the very beginning of the month? The BD run?
No, so actually, we're just going to jump right in.
Yeah, I want to jump right into
let's jump right in. It's a really great story, so I hope y'all think so too. I'm still processing it all, so I'll take you back to convention.
Okay.
So we had a really transformative convention, and I don't know if you knew that we were going to get called up to do the hypnosis, but it was really powerful experience to be hypnotized by Anthony Gailey.
Yeah.
And what's so cool is that a lot of the people that were on that stage were running to hit BD also. So it's really neat to see all of that. So, our Empire group broke off, and I made a declaration to my mentor. And I basically said that I was not going to be a chump and miss out on any more leaderships, or I was going to make it happen, because she really has coached me in this industry. When I say stick in my video, stick by women who have already kind of paved that path. Yeah. I did that. And so, you've mentored a lot of people. You give up a lot of time, to develop a person. Oh, yeah. And so I really wanted to show gratitude in action and not words. And so I made a declaration, and so remember that part. So we get back home, and I really start hitting the ground running. And I immediately had a shift right away. I got out of my own way, and I started to produce results every single day. I was on an accountability call with a lot of other people that were running really hardcore on every single night. And I have 3 children. I have a husband, so I don't get a pass to not be a mom. Yep. My boys need their mom. And there are days when I'm the one who needs to put them to bed, but I just really was in a mentality of, I can't make my kids an excuse as to why I can't do something. They actually need to be why I have to get this done. And my husband, I'm so grateful, was really just by my side in this. And I think in a way he was like, is she really gonna pull this off? And I liked that challenge of the shadow of doubt. So 2 weeks in to my run, I was moving into a larger office here at our Dallas hub. And there was an accident in the move, and I had a really bad, broken foot incident, and just spare everyone the details. And what was so incredible was, actually, there are people that are here in the audience that were there that day. It was on a Sunday at 2, and our team members were so relentless that we were having meetings and helping families even on a Sunday at 2. And so I had some of my business partners take me with my husband to the emergency room, and I hear that even in the car, in the hospital, on the way home, my concern was, am I still going to be able to hit BD? And that for me was, I don't really remember that part because it was very painful, but I'm sure, So that was 2 weeks into to my run. And I was incapacitated for about 4 or 5 days, and I was laid up on a couch. And, it was so interesting. People tell me things, people that love me, Brad, my dad, my husband, my family, my kids, just relax, just let yourself heal. And anyway, you've never even done this good in business before anyway. So even if this is all you do, it's still really great.
Yeah.
And you know what? A part of me was kind of buying into that, to be honest with you, because it's easier. And I think that we are constantly conditioned to take an easier way and to accept complacency. And I'm not saying complacency, but I did my best. I'll take a participation award, so to speak. And I decided, well, my feet don't work, but my hands do. I can take a video call. I wasn't on pain meds, so I felt like I could be coherent to take a call. So I just kind of started that way. Well, let me start some Zoom calls, meetings. And before I knew it, I was back up at the office with ice packs in the freezer, icing my foot down, working, taking ibuprofen, whatever I had to do to really, make it happen. And because of those few days of not being able to really do business and contact people, I started to see, kind of darkness come over me, as in, this may be impossible for me to do this. And in that moment, I text my mentor. It was very late at night, and I said, "Hey, I really can't sleep. I'm really, we had been strategizing again and again, and re-strategizing and revisiting and following up. And how are we going? How is this? Let's not freak out. Let's strategize." And that was really helpful. And so remember, I told you I made a declaration. Well, you guys, I did the ugly cry and everything. I mean, it was raw emotion of me declaring I'm gonna make this happen. Because what an opportunity, like a serious opportunity. And so my mentor says, well, since you can't sleep, and mind you, we're actually really good friends before business. Yeah. She sends me a video of me declaring this in convention. And in short, she basically says, are you gonna chump out again? Mm-hmm. And it was exactly what I needed to hear in that moment. And it was almost like affirmation to what I already knew I needed to do, which was really whatever it takes. And I am the one who limits myself if it doesn't happen. So we came back into the office, and I put a deadline for myself one day before the actual deadline. And I just really went all night at it. My husband was texting me at about 9, hey, it's already been about 12 hours or 10 hours, I'm coming to get you, because I wasn't able to drive yet. And I said, no, I'm not finished. I'm really close. And I was really close, I thought. And so we just stayed, and it was a team effort. All of this was really coaching and being coachable. I listened to the direction I was given. I didn't doubt it. I just did it because it's duplicatable. And if I knew that I'd only been in this industry 1 year, so I really need to listen if this is what I need to do. I need to be in sync and just do exactly what I'm told to do. And I did. And there was a lot of prayer because there was pain. You know, and so I had to really go into a place mentally of, just asking for grace, and that may not be relatable to everybody, but for me, it was a really big part of staying focused in my run and putting my faith first, and just knowing it's not good enough to pray. Mm-hmm. You have to really meet that with action. And so there, late at the end of the night, I believe it was a Thursday or Friday night, it was August 30th. I think we finally left at about 10:58, and I just said, man, I need one more recruit to really close this out. And at 10:58, we got that recruit. I was in the car with my mentor. I went to Bryan Adams High School. Bryan Adams happened to be playing on the radio. It was a very emotional moment. My mentor dropped me off at my house, and as I was on the way home, I said, okay, I told you I would come home when it was done. Mm-hmm. It was done, and my husband's only response was just, wow. Yep. That's it. And for me, it was still unbelievable, so I kind of still kept pushing there at the end, and in short, that was really my whole experience.
May I ask you, what is the one thing that you would say you learned about that run?
my one thing?
Yeah.
I transformed. You're kidding, right? Okay, one thing. And let me say, why did I transform? Because you put a hard deadline.
Yep.
That's different. I mean, to tell you something, when someone says no, you're like, okay, next. Who do you know? I need 3 to 5 people. Who do you know? What are their numbers? It just changes you. There's urgency. You carry yourself with urgency. So I had a really big mind shift as far as just owning the power of my license. And I was better. Gosh, I think the one thing I would say was what really changed me was probably the deadline, the mentality of the deadline. That maybe is a little bit dangerous in our industry. And for me, it's dangerous because I have a family that's counting on me. And we have little kids, we have a lot of expenses. So for me, the deadline was really transformative because of the deadline, I moved with more urgency and I talked to a lot more people and I articulated my message very, very compressed and clearly and quickly. It's almost like all of my appointments and trainings and meetings and rejections and straight out laughing in my face, you're a doula. I need you to get back. And, all of that doubt really just culminated to, I got to be the best if I'm going to do this, because I have a lot of people that are kind of working against me in that way and for me, of course. But, and for me, the challenge of doubt really pushes me personally. And, my husband said something to me. He said, if you want to be noticed in your company, as fresh as you are, in any company, you have to be the brightest star. So I really took it a step further, and that's why I put that extra layer of competition upon myself, is that I really wanted to do it first. I wanted to be first, and I was really hoping to pull in the most points. But at least I knew I at least wanted to be the first business director in our Infinite company, because there can only be one first. And I love all of my running mates so much, and that's just my own competitiveness in me and what I needed to really do to prove it to myself.
So if you don't mind me dissecting what you just shared, is really at the end of the day, what I've understood about business and about just about everything is that you just did it. There's nothing else to it. And many people have a hard time grasping that, because you won't know until you do it. I mean, that's just how, if you talk to anybody that's crossed the finish line, and it doesn't mean cross the finish line in just BD. If you look back your entire life, you might have been faced with a challenge where you didn't know if you can do it. And then you come across it, you cross the finish line, and you say, how did I do it? You just did it. There's really no other explanation to it. And from what I hear is you gave a very good summary, you gave a good experience of everything that's happened. And that's the beauty of a run. And I want to challenge people who are listening here today, is that today's the 24th. You still have 6 days. There's been many times in business where I've been pushed my back against the wall, and you only have a few days left. And the difference between winning and losing is just making that decision to win and doing it. That's it. And so I want everybody to really grasp, because sometimes when people hear somebody finishing it or winning, they negotiate that. Still, they'll say, well, Rosemary has been in it for a year. Rosemary had her spouse supporting her. Rosemary had a great mentor. Rosemary has this, but that's not always true. There's a lot of bumps in the road there. I'm sure you've had bumps with the mentor. I'm sure you had bumps with your spouse. I'm sure you had bumps with everybody during those times. That's just how business is. And that's why I want to really point out here today, is because somebody was talking to me about their run this month, and I hear a lot of stuff, but it's hard for me to understand wanting to win and just making it happen, because I don't speak this language. The only language I speak is you make it happen. You said something earlier, you said your children are not going to be a reason why you don't win. And a lot of people have asked me, and we're not a lot of people, a couple guys asked me, is like for our ring here that we have how about a company, we have this thing, it's called Chancellor Club, right? And people say, oh, so you name after your son. No, without Chancellor, I would have never been pushed to start this. And Chancellor wasn't even born yet. And so if I wasn't pushed to start this, we might not, or we wouldn't have OIC. Right. And so that's the thing, is that it's a reminder for me every day is that I didn't do this. My children weren't a reason why I didn't do this. My children were the reason. And I think that a lot of times people, they try to negotiate with themselves because they don't want to feel like they failed. They don't want to feel like they're going to fail. But it's either you do it or you don't. And that's probably the hardest thing to grasp in the business world. And so what I heard from you just the last few minutes here is, Rosemary, you just did it. There's really, broken foot, you just did it. Go home, you just did it. You're at the office for 12 hours, you just did it. And so I want to encourage everybody here today that's listening is, if Mary Grace didn't, oh, I'm sorry, your mentor didn't say that, you didn't mention names. Mary Grace, okay, so if Mary Grace didn't, I'm assuming it was Mary Grace. If Mary Grace didn't say, quit being a chump, right? And she didn't say that, that might have not waken you up at that moment.
Isn't that incredible? And I think that's part of being in sync together. Like, we spend a lot of time together, not because we have to. I want to be with her all the time. I want to be with Kim all the time. I want to be with all of my office. That's why I have an office, because I wanted to be really good, really fast. And I knew I couldn't get that from a self-improvement book. I knew I couldn't get that from sitting in a freaking meeting, excuse me. But if you want it, show me, because I want it so bad. And one more thing that really pushed me, it really strikes a chord when you say, if Chancellor wasn't here, would you have done this? You know, you can make a lot of money doing a lot of things. I'm a very talented woman. I could do many things. I want to do Our Infinite Company. The people in this company are my friends. And part of my business director run, your wife is a very good friend of mine. Mm-hmm. I know, I hear the stories, I hear of what you guys have gone through to bring this company to life. I want to be a part of that. I want to contribute to something that I love and care for. And something else that really took it over the edge, I actually told my kids this. I said, I'm done breaking promises to you guys that I'm gonna do it, and then I have to tell you I came really close and I tried really hard. That feels horrible. And I just was done. There were so many things, really, but being in sync with Mary Grace and her sending me that video in that moment, that meant a lot. It really turned the corner. And she was even in the office. I'm sorry, Dad, if you're watching. She was even in the office when I called my dad to, as a team member, hey, I need your help. What can I count on you for? This was within the last, my personal deadline, few hours. And he actually said to me, are you still up there? Mm-hmm. Are you okay? Are you taking care of your foot? Honey, is this really the life that you want? I took a deep breath. I looked at my precious mentor's sweet, smiling, angelic face, and she just said, it's okay. And I said, next. Mm-hmm. Right? So it was incredible experience.
Oh, the parents, they're the roughest. So my parents, which some of y'all have met, they're very supportive now, and they're very loving, and it's because they love us, just like we love our children. So it's always, that's probably the toughest one, is sometimes it's the parents. But if you bet my parents, they love this business, they love this industry, and one of the things is because, and this is where a lot of entrepreneurs have a hard time grasping, is I've been in this industry since 2003. I've won, I've lost, I've won, I've failed, but I stuck in it and stuck in it. That's the difference between, that I say, between me and other millennials, quote unquote, young folks, who can't get their head wrapped into that. They got to understand, when people out there say you need multiple incomes, they're making money off you, and they're saying that because they're selling a dang book to you. Let me share you something. Warren Buffett stuck with one thing. Bill Gates stuck with one thing. Amazon, Jeff Bezos, stuck with one thing. And that's the challenge, is that there's so many people out there today that say you got to do 100 different things so that you can make money, but you most likely probably bought their event, you probably sat in their motivational speech, you probably bought their book, you probably spent some kind of money, or you somehow promoted them. And people don't understand that. For me, one thing. It's like if you have somebody in your life and you love them, you stick with them. There was a saying I saw for men, speaking for men. You want to have a simple life? Love one woman, that's it. It's that simple, all right? And so I'm a huge believer in that, because you don't want to complex your life. If you complex your life, you can't ever get to the final destination that you're trying to achieve. It's just impossible. And so, but you get these guys who maybe they have they can reach to the top by luck, but you've seen, how many stories have we seen that they fall flat on their face? And so that's the thing, is that Rosemary, you have shared some very good nuggets, and I hope that y'all were able to gain some experience, because one of the best ways to get you from here to here, or to wherever your destination is, to learn from experience. And as you see, we feature, we always try to feature, especially the winners in our company, the people who bring value into our company, the leaders in our company, because it's about building leaders, and you want to hear organically from the experience within our field force. I mean, we can bring in a lot of motivational speakers here today, which they're very good. They're good at teaching business, but you're trying to learn this business. You're trying to understand how to win in this business, and there are stages that you got to go through. All right? So what I want to do now is, and I'm going to ask you to help tag team me here, tag team with this subject here a little bit, is as you all know, I think it was the last Infinite Talk we launched, our Financial Freedom is a soft launch, and we talked a little bit about the project. We talked about what we're going to be doing out there to bring financial awareness. And a lot of times people ask me, is they might say, Brad, I don't understand why we need to do this trifold. Because you have to understand something, is it's about the contacts. It's about the easy message to discuss something that's important without going about it as a salesperson. I mean, if you don't mind me asking, what was your biggest paycheck in the month, this month, in one cycle?
11,000.
11,000.
Almost 12.
Almost 12,000. Some 11,000, some change, right? And we had multiple people. We had from 10,000 plus checks in one cycle. And people don't understand how lucrative this industry is, how much money flows through this industry. Because we don't want to make the money aspect such a big deal, because if you understand the industry, you understand how much money is in it. But sometimes we have to remind everybody is that you change people's lives, but you change your life along the way. There's two things out of here. When you're part of OIC, change your life and change other people's lives, because we're the people's company. There's nothing else to that. And in order for you to change your life, we want you to make more income. We want you to make $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 checks. I mean, doesn't that sound nice to get one day, all of a sudden you wake up and all of a sudden you see a $12,000 check? And we had a bunch of ladies who got $10,000+ check, and I'm excited for all the ladies. We had a couple guys, well, we have a few guys, but a lot of ladies took the trophy on that one. And I'm excited for that, because mom of 3, bring home the bacon like that, that's amazing. And it brings value to the family. It helps the family. And so we bring this trifold to everybody, because we want you to understand is that many of y'all are going to have a tough time trying to transition into this industry because you think you have to be the guy on Wall Street. You think you have to be the guy that's very professional. Let me share y'all something. Most people that have got into this model, into this industry, like myself, were not professional people. And we became professional, but at the same time, we kept it real with the people that we talked to. Because this is a tough subject to tackle, financial freedom. And if everybody understood it, then we would be a better world today. But everybody doesn't. And so we wanted to open a conversation today is that if you have some questions regarding this challenge or ideas or comments that you want to put here, because beginning of October 1st, we're going to do a major launch with this 30-day savings. And we were going through the whole program on what can we do to help people understand how to save. And we were having a brainstorm session. I shared with them is that, well, first of all, you got to know what you're spending before you can save. And second, you got to know where you're saving money. Because if you don't know where the money's going out from you, it's like no matter how much money you save, if you don't stop that hole, if it's like you got if you have a gallon of water right now, and there's a hole, and no matter how much water you keep pouring in that gallon of water, you don't plug that hole, doesn't matter how much money you make. It's what you keep. And so you got to know what your expenses are. And so there are steps when you're trying to do a 30-day savings project. You're trying to do different things. So we want to open the floor today. We have Mr. Anthony Rubio, who's going to be taking questions. So if you have questions regarding this challenge, if you have questions regarding what we talked about with life insurance earlier, please ask. And if you just have a random question about Rosemary's run at the same time, please, you're more than welcome to ask right now. So, and we have live viewers too. If you have questions, please type it out, and I'm sure somebody will proctor that. Any questions? All right.
Hi. You had mentioned about there were some times where you had some moments where you were challenging yourself if you could really do it. What kind of helped you overcome that and push through?
Myself. So at the convention, Anthony Gailey told us some things to do, and so when we were in that room, I did it right away. And so I recorded a video of just a voice recording of me setting a daily goal. I listened to it multiple times throughout the day. It was a 5-minute recording of this is specifically how much money I need to make. This was my very super specific goals, and I set a deadline, and I wrote my goal down every morning right after I brush my teeth. But honestly, if I can just kind of throw all that out the window, it just was me saying, I'm not going to listen to that voice. I'm going to listen to what I need to do. And I surrounded myself with people. I was at the office a lot, surrounded by people who wanted me to accomplish this.
Yeah, and I want to tag on to that. A lot of time people, they in the history of my experience, many people don't like coming to the office because they say, oh, it's work on my own time, flexible hours, I'm my own boss. But you have to understand, there's so much crap out there in the world that inundates your head, your mind, and you know what that is? It's called the news. It's called watching TV. It's called your friends who drag you down because they want you to go party instead of making more money or changing your life. And if you don't get into a new environment, let me share you something. It is difficult. It is very difficult to win because your environment does matter. Have you ever been to a sports game and all of a sudden the home game, they start clapping, they're cheering, and all of a sudden you see this team, or like a Tom Brady, all of a sudden comes out of nowhere, wins another championship. And that's the thing, is that you understand environment is a big deal. So what she shares there, understand that's a huge golden nugget right there. Okay, huge.
So, me myself, I don't really know what we're calling this thing. I guess the pamphlet. But I went through it with a friend of mine, and he basically told me hard pass because he needed help with everything. But How exactly would a follow-up go? Because I know you mentioned that earlier, and I guess I myself am having trouble with the whole follow-up thing. And how do you approach somebody who's already told you no, even though you really care about them?
May I ask you, how did you finish it off?
I just told him, if you have any questions, I'm always here, but you do need help because of the whole, or basically what he was saying, that he doesn't really have a plan for the future. And we're both college students, but I just told him to call me if he ever does have any questions, and that we could talk about it if he ever feels up to it. So
how did you introduce it to him to begin with?
I told him, hey, I'm with this or company, our Infinite company, and I want to go through this financial wellness challenge we're having. And he told me okay, and then we just started with the middle, and then we went through it. So
okay. So let me talk to you about the 3-step process of setting up an appointment. All right, pretty simple. Number 1, ask questions. So I would ask questions, and maybe before that, share the importance of why you're even sitting down with them to begin with, because you got to connect. So if I'm sitting down with Rosemary, let's say she is somebody who I've gone to school with, actually. And so let's say Rosemary, I'm sitting down and I said, hey, Rosemary, we used to go to Bryan Adams together, and one of the things is, you know, the area, it's not the best, and there's a lot of hardworking people. And I really want to be an activist towards this social change about financial freedom. And I've really sat down and self-analyzed my situation, and I realized I'm not in the best situation. I'm a college student, okay? And I want to be better. And I want to ask you, Rosemary, don't you think that it's not fair out there in today's society that we weren't taught this kind of knowledge, but now we have the chance? Wouldn't it be great that we learn it? So you see, like I asked a question, she has to kind of answer and engage. Because if you just give the trifold, the financial freedom trifold, and you just say, here, man, you know, this is cool. I don't like where I'm at, but can you fill this out? You're not going to get any engagement. But congratulations on taking that first step, because you got to take that first step. Because let me share you something. The reason I sound good today is because I screwed up a lot. Yes. In a short period of time, though. Let me tell you something. It wasn't over a long period of time. I screwed up in a short period of time with a lot of people. So I gained so much experience that I got great at it and became a BD in 6 months. Does that make sense? And so you have to understand is that what you're doing is great. So first step I like to do is I want to go through questions and say, hey, Rosemary, so what do you not like about, how do you feel about financial? Do you feel like your knowledge is all there? What are you reading right now to better yourself? And, you know, there's just open conversation, open questions. And then you can go into the trifold. So number 2, use a trifold. So I'm just giving you a 3-step process on the trifold, okay? So second step, I'd go and just say, hey, I would go down the middle and I say, have you ever heard of the X-curve concept? It's another question. No, I never heard of it. Oh, man, it's the most amazing concept that I've ever experienced in my life, and I didn't know anything about it. It's a financial concept. Then I'll go in and I say, what is your priority right now? Since we're college students, you know, maybe we might have some debt. And don't you think that we should figure out how to get out of debt? Do you think that's a pretty big priority for us right now compared to the other 5 items? Yes. Great. Lifetime income projection. Have you ever thought about, man, we're young. Wouldn't it be nice that if we had some type of source of income that could give us lifetime income for the rest of our life, and we can, you know, be sipping on some martinis at the age of 40 in Tahiti and enjoying our life? Wouldn't that be great? But did you ever think about a number that we would need? Another question. Then I jump into credit. How's your credit score, brother? You know, how's your credit score? Rosemary, I don't know. Have you ever heard of something called annual credit report, just to check your credit report? And maybe if you have a credit card, to go on there, you might get a free FICO score. Have you ever thought about it? Well, it's not really important to me. Let me show you. I think it's really important because, as you can see through this chart, if I have poor credit, I can get a higher interest rate, or it's not good for me to get a higher interest rate, but if I have a better score, I can get lower. And then I just go through it and go through it. Do you mind if you give me the back slide? The second one? So if you notice, the way we close this out, it's with questions. And this is where it might not apply, for example, to a college student at this moment, but it might. I don't know how far in depth you are in college right now. But to a Rosemary, these are some solid questions to be asking. All right? Do you have a will? No. Do you know the importance of having a will? Now, I might be sharing y'all some questions right now. You might be saying, well, Brad, I don't even understand this stuff. That's your job to go learn as a professional, and you have this great website called google.com that you can Google what happens if you don't have a will and you die. Guys, this is an age of information. It's not an age of acting like I don't know anymore. Do y'all get what I'm saying? If you told me 50 years ago and you say, Brad, I don't know, I got that, okay? Here's an encyclopedia, here's a dictionary, here's all this, go to school, get a great education. Today, you can't say I don't know anymore. Because if you say that, you got to question where you're heading in life. All right? And I'm just saying that to be very forward with everyone. Is we live in a completely different world today. Y'all heard GM just laid off 15,000 people? Let me tell you, when I say the next decade it's going to be crazy, the next decade is going to be crazy. And that's why the People's Company is going to come up. All right? Y'all got to understand this. It's already happening. It's been happening. So these questions is how you close it out. So I get to the very end, said, Rosemary, what I shared with you today, I don't know if it's, if you find any interest, but you sound like you do. I want to show you this website called Takeoff Challenge. It's still growing. We're going to update it. We're just doing a soft launch. And as it grows, through the experience of a lot of people, we're going to grow it. Because right now, we're going to be an activist of social change. Don't you think, let's say, I'm going to tell you, a college student might not say, hey, I want to save money. Because they're probably barely surviving. Their head's barely above water right now, man. So you have to know what you're dealing with. So what is the number one thing for a young person they probably want to do?
Make money.
Make money. So I would say, hey, Rosemary, I know we're in college right now, but what if we could help be activists for the social change and make some kind of movement where we're able to bring financial freedom to families, but as we're growing and learning and we come across many people, we're going to gain experience and we can make money doing it and grow our wealth. Don't you think we can do that together as best friends, college buddies, roommates, blah, blah, blah? That's how that's how I onboarded a lot of my good friends back in the days. I said, you remember back in the days when we talked 10 years ago as kids, we talked about growing a business together? Yeah, man. Remember how we used to grind it out, make money? Let's do it now together. To me, it's simple. So the question would be, is how do you reapproach your friend? Mm-hmm. Coffee. Talk to them. Say, hey, man, I want to talk to you about this again. Why? I already told you. I don't want to be involved. Is it because maybe it's the money aspect of things? Yeah, man, I don't have any money to save to give to this thing. Well, it wasn't about the money. It was about I want to make a movement and a social change where people we need to bring awareness about this. It's just how you bring it. He says no, it's okay. Because if you stick with it, like my parents, you stick with it, your parents will support you, your friends will support you. But you have to be successful so that they support you. Because they need to see that. Make sense? All right. Another question?
Anybody else?
Is that helpful for y'all?
Yes.
All right.
Absolutely. Anybody got a question? Give it a chance.
So I have a question.
Sure.
So I'm so excited. So we're gonna get to really be more interactive from what I understand. And so I don't know about you guys, but I'm already grooming my kids to get in on this savings challenge. And so we have a budget for groceries. That's probably one of my biggest, core expenses is a grocery bill for 3 boys. And of course, my husband and I. And so we are doing the challenge as well. And so we're so excited to be using our coupon app for Tom Thumb. And I wish I'm going to record it and I'm going to share it and I'm going to hashtag because you guys, we put in our phone number and it's just like everyone's a hawk of how much did we save this time. It was like over 58% of our receipt. It was about 58% of our bill. Isn't that incredible?
That's really good.
So it's out there, and what I love about this movement is get excited about it. I think that, you know, to kind of follow up, do it yourself, be engaged with what we're doing, and just kind of share that. That's what I've been doing. Hey, I really want to share this experience with you. We're saving money, and we're going to just move it over. That's what we would have spent. And we're just wanting to see how much did we end up with. Isn't that kind of cool? It's exciting. So I don't know if that will help anybody or if maybe somebody else wants to try that.
I mean, it's just about, and that's, let me share y'all, this challenge is supposed to bring awareness. I understand that you might not get anywhere with it. But the idea is when you bring awareness, you're playing a large numbers game now versus a small numbers game. Do you get what I'm saying? So when you play a large numbers game, what's going to happen is you're going to be so busy because you're talking to everybody. And the third step that I didn't mention is to set up the appointments. That's all it is. So I ask questions, I do the trifold, and I just set up the appointment. Hey, you know what? I'm not an expert, but it sounds like you would be interested because you did fill out this trifold. I got a great person named Mary Grace who I would love for you to sit down with. And she's been in the industry for 20 plus years, and she could share you some nuggets there, all right? And I want to sit and also keep learning because this is what I love. Y'all get what I'm saying? That's how you do it. So it's that simple. And when you're going out there and you're saving money, coupons. I mean, if you go to our home, Mary Grace gave Mary Sell a coupon book. We use the coupon book.
We did too.
All right, yeah, we used it. It's not like it's sitting there on our table and it's just like whatever. Like Mary Sell be like, hey, have you heard of this restaurant? I said, no. I was like, why? And she goes, because it's buy one entree and get one free. I said, let's go. All right? Because that means we just got some for free.
Yes.
I'm just saying, guys, hey, I don't care how much money you make, man. It's not, to me, it's not cool to overspend. Right. To me, it's way much cooler with more money in your bank. Way much more money in your retirement accounts. More money that you feel secure. Your card's not getting declined because you're trying to get Starbucks. I'm just saying. Mm-hmm. All right? I think saving is cool. All right. Any other questions? None on the line? Okay. If there's no other questions, then I want to go ahead and wrap up today's session in the next couple minutes. If we can go ahead and play our next video. So next week, October 1st, we're going to be starting registration for our Vegas event. So I want to go ahead and kind of go just massage that a little bit and let you guys know what it's all about. Guys, we've changed up Vegas. It's not going to be for senior associates and up anymore. It's going to be the first 100 that's going to register. And so this is our OIC entrepreneurship program that's being launched. And so for some of y'all that were at the retreat, the BDs, you heard that we have 4 programs called Creator, Catalyst, Disruptor, and Mentor. We're going to focus on the first 2, which is called Creator and Catalyst. As you can see, Creator, it says be an activist for social change. So this is focused on how many apps that you do per month, and then we're going to have 3 tiers for you to qualify into it. And we'll explain that more when we launch it. Catalyst is develop the leader within you, and what that is we're going to focus on people who build a licensed organization. All right? Imagine, I have a great friend that's not in this company, but was in the practice company with me, and he made $2 million a year, but he made $1 million for the last 20 years because he had 1,000 licenses in his organization. That's it. I'm not saying $1 million him going out there and selling. I'm talking about running a business, passive income. And this guy, he lives a great life. And he's just one of my many friends that are multimillionaires that's done this whole process of having licensed people. And so we have Catalyst. Disruptors lead teams into a social change, which is going to be creating a catalyst. And a mentor is basically you're building the next generation of leaders. And so the first 2 is what we're going to focus on. So in Vegas, in Vegas, what we're going to do when we open up the registration is registration is going to cost you something. We don't know. We're trying to price it right now, but we're not going to try to go over 100. Okay? You fly there. You want to be taught. We'll teach you. There's going to be two sessions simultaneously. One is for the creators and one is for the catalysts. So one is for the creators, meaning that we're going to teach you how to really approach the industry from a sales aspect, selling, how to get better at it, how to get more ads, how to write it, how to really interact and all those things. And this is going to be from me, field leaders, and I'm looking at maybe an external person to come out and teach some different ideas on it too. For the catalysts, all right, this is going to be how to build base shops, build business, a big business of leaders, okay, or at least initially you build a big base shop of licensed people, and we're going to get you to the next one, which is Disruptor, but the first two is we're going to focus on. So these are the two programs. If you want to join us, you join us. If you don't want to join us, I'm okay with it, all right, guys? The challenge is that right now I'm building leaders, because when you build leaders, people come. And before you can become a leader, you got to know your industry. You got to learn this stuff. And so why do we do it in Vegas? Because we're tired of doing events in Texas. It's time to do things outside Texas, all right? And so we're going to have a great time doing it. I want to encourage y'all. It's going to be those, that weekend of the 15th and 16th, I believe. 15 and 16. I'll be there for a few days earlier, so that's why my dates are all a little messed up. And it's going to be that weekend there. And so just look out. Next week, we launch registration now. First 100, that's it, because we just don't have... We need to train the next 100 to close out this year so that we can go into 2020. All right, y'all? So to close off this meeting, we have one last thing, which is a raffle. I mean, not a raffle, I'm sorry. I don't even know what it's called. And so we're giving a giveaway. There you go. All right. Oh, man, they always tell me. I always butcher that thing up. And so we're doing a giveaway. And the giveaway that we're giving is that, as you all know, it's a season of the State Fair. And so what's going to happen is that the winner is going to receive an email from our home office, and we're going to give you a package so that you can go out there and support the State Fair. It's just, something fun. That's all it is for showing up, because we have one more Infinite Talk, and then thereafter we might be changing Infinite Talk because our home office is moving. And so we might start changing up our Infinite Talks to pre-recorded shows. And we're only going to invite like the top 20 people or something like that to attend the show. And so we're changing a lot of things up with even the show itself, so that way, because we're growing, there's been a lot of demand on a lot of different areas, and we want to really try to help out as much as we can. So the giveaway now, there's a ticket under your seat. So if it's a golden ticket, let me know who's the winner here, all right? All right, we have a winner, Mr. NBA. All right. That's a good seat to have, man. Say, do you mind telling us your name? Kobe? Oh, Kobe Bryant's my favorite basketball player, man. No wonder. All right. Well, okay, guys, let's congratulate Kobe. I don't even know if how involved you are with our company, but our home office will contact you, and so from my understanding, it's a pretty cool package, tickets and admission tickets and all that great stuff. So you never know what you're gonna get. We try to do this whole Willy Wonka factory thing. So I'm kidding, but guys, today's been a great segment, and Rosemary, thank you very much for really making such a great segment for us. And guys, we'll see y'all next time. All right? Thank you very much. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you for attending and watching this segment of Infinite Talk. We want to remind everyone we will have Infinite Talk next Tuesday at 7:30 p.m. Follow our Infinite Company on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, subscribe to our Infinite Company YouTube channel. Have a great evening.